Hello, this is Nick, and I'm making this video for my friends and family in the Spokane County, Washington area. This video is being brought to you so you can make better choices about going forward with regard to the coronavirus in Spokane County. I expect to make more videos as this event unfolds and as more data comes out. I have not decided on how often I will do that, but as the numbers change, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so this is the growth curve for the coronavirus in Spokane, Washington as it currently sits. The data points are starting on March 17th and going until March 24th. So we do still have a small amount of data sets, so the forecast that I'm going to be doing a little later is going to be very, very hard, and it'll be very broad, and it won't be very definite. So there's still a lot of changes that can happen, and as more data comes out, we'll just have to kind of wait and see on what we're going to be dealing with in the end. So as it currently sits, it still looks like we're just coming out of the lag phase of the growth curve, and the next phase would be exponential phase. And that's when things should really start picking up, and we should see a steady increase from day to day, or in other words, the velocity is going to, or the acceleration of cases are going to pick up until it starts to flatten out. And that's the idea with all these measures that we're putting in place with social distancing and shutting all the businesses down and shutting the state down and calling in the National Guard and you name it, you know. So the idea again is that the curve will kind of flatten out and turn to the right, kind of that way as the arrow points. And then once that happens, we'll start to go into what is called stationary phase. And then hopefully we'll stay in the stationary phase for a while without bumping up and having another exponential phase. That would not be good, and we'll talk about that if that ever happens. But we want that to just slowly drop as cases start dropping off, as in people are getting cured. So this is Iran, and this is from mid-February all the way till right now, and they haven't really done a very good job as far as mitigating. As you can see, that line is basically going straight, and it's following that green line quite well. So they are not having the effect that us Americans are trying to do with what the government is calling flattening the curve. So here is the forecast. Again, the green line is the confirmed cases and of what's actually going on. So the orange case on the very bottom, that would be the kind of the average. If the infections did not accelerate, then this is what we could expect, and that looks pretty good, but honestly that's probably not realistic, and what's more realistic is probably somewhere in between the red line and the blue line. So, and that's why the green line is in the middle there. So it's not looking the greatest, but compared to some other areas in the country, it's looking a lot better. Now, with all of these measures that we're putting into place, we should see that curve start to turn to the right. So, again, once we start seeing that, and once those numbers come in, we'll make those forecast adjustments, and we'll know a little bit more about where we're going to lie and how these measures work. And then, of course, as we get closer to summer, too, we might see some differences there based on weather. This is just a close-up of that growth curve with those two forecasts, minus the extreme one, the red one, because what I wanted to show here is that green line. We really want that line to be pushed to the right and kind of pulled down, and it'll kind of turn to the right. And so we want it to go towards that blue line and the yellow line, and that'll show us that the infections is starting to slow down. And that'll be good news, and that'll show us that what we're doing in this community is working. If the green line continues to follow the trajectory it's on, we'll have to go from there, and Honestly, that won't be good, but we won't know more, of course, until the days go on. All right, well, thank you for watching this educational video made for my family and friends. I ask any and all of you to please comment if you have any questions and give me some feedback too. This was my first video. All the source again was from the Washington State Department of Health, and I do not want anybody reproducing this video. You're welcome to view it on YouTube and to share it with other people on YouTube, just so long as they're using it in a private, educational, and individual use. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, and we'll see you next time.